I'm probably getting copyright struck for that, but yeah. I had "Life is a Highway" by Rascal Flatts playing right on my microphone when I started up the stream. That wasn't exactly the smartest thing to do. Maybe not a strike. I've never got anything more serious than a claim. And now we're playing my boarding music playlist, which... I don't know. We'll see what that's like. Alright. Time to boot her up. That was a very weird way to say that. Better push back. Pre-plan. Oh! There's a plane next to us. Imagine just like boarding and like this relaxing hymn tune is playing. The tune itself is called Joyous Light.
Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
APU started. Generator on. Yaw dampers, probably want those on. Auto rate. Yeah, that's all good. Packs, we want air conditioning. It's been hot in California lately. At least down where I am. Yeah, we can open that window. Yeah, so I'm still a first officer at Walker Air Transport. I'm flying over to the Netherlands to do the Amsterdam wet lease. I don't have to do this flight, I just want to. Yep. No ads. That's better. No ads, vibes only. Oh yeah, you can define waypoint. That was something on this that... Alright, company. San Francisco to Amsterdam. Is that Cattery still there? Yes. I am trying to save storage space, so on a flight once from Los Angeles to Helsinki, I lost the plane due to running out of, quote, virtual memory. So I've done some stuff to temper... Like, this was a long time ago, but I've done stuff to temper the amount of virtual memory that that X-plane uses. So, yeah. Alright, we got that in. Departure time is in 18 minutes. Let's see, where are we going out of? It is time to do some studying. We're going out of one right. Man, 17 degrees at San Francisco right now. That is... I am jealous. Because there was something else that needed to be done. Wipers, we obviously don't need those. Oh yes, charts. What just happened? Oh boy, here we go. Okay then. Checking where we are, we're going to one right, so that is a very short taxi. It's also not up to date with the scenery. That's okay. Or it might be. I don't know. This is San Francisco as it was in 2017 because I'm still using X-Plane 11. So it's going to be Mike 2 and Alpha Lima. That's good. Alright, VATSIM is back live, and I will not channel the audio out because we're not in controlled airspace. Pretty much the only time I'm going to for controlled airspace is if it's around landing. So if we get into like the North Atlantic Center, the controller for the North Atlantic tracks, I'm just going to keep that over my headset. Initial altitude, flight level 310. That's why I'm here. Takeoff performance. Calculate. Okay, so we're going to have flaps 15. The V1 is going to be 153 knots. The VR is going to be 157 knots. V2, 162 knots. Which, if you're watching the stream and don't know what any of those are, so the V1 is the speed at which the takeoff can no longer safely be aborted. The VR, that was too far. VR is rotation, so that's when the plane actually takes off. V2 is the minimum climb-out speed with one engine. I think it means one engine inoperative, which means the same thing on a twin-engine aircraft, but for something like the MD-11 or a 747, that's going to be different because they have 3 and 4 engines respectively. Alright, so collision lights, we want those on. Anti-collision lights, of course. Yeah, so flaps will be 15 for takeoff. The Cattery is there, so we know that oh, that's not a Cattery now, that's a Cathay. Alright. And then, of course, I'm still a first officer. I'm probably going to be a senior first officer upon returning from the wet lease. If not, my flight back from Amsterdam will be the flight that promotes me to captain. I'm going to be in the right seat until then, which actually is quite enjoyable for a different experience. So 153, 157, what's our CTAF? CTAF is 10.5. Voice server error timeout. That's not good. Okay. Walker 4587 heavy radio check. Okay. And hopefully this offers a solution. So we're gonna disconnect here. We're gonna reboot. Oh, it's weird. Something happened to my voice. We're gonna reboot here. And then we're gonna try connecting again. Appears to be invalid. I wonder if the live stream has something to do with it. Appears to be invalid. I put B763. That's totally legit. Okay. Let's not get worked up here. Can start closing some doors here. A failed... Alright. So one thing we haven't done here is filed... Okay, so the connection appears to be working normally now. That 777 is not there. Voice server error timeout. This is gonna get really annoying real fast. Oh! That beeped real loudly. Alright. Walker 4587 heavy radio check. Are you kidding me? Tree 02 tree, I think is, yeah, tree, no, tree 20 tree. This thing, this transponder, because the weird click this is so painful to change. Push back.
Grounded cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Call for push. Speed 250, and we're going to keep it at that for the duration of the climb.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
So it'll be flaps 15 for takeoff. Ground power is disconnected. Actually, we're going to want to leave the generators off, I think. Until we're away.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
San Francisco traffic, Walker 4587 Heavy is pushing back at gate 7 tail right. San Francisco.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Alright. Packs off and starting engines. Which I understand in real life isn't exactly the best ADM, but if it, I mean, glad we're not in controlled airspace, because this would be a really big problem if we were. Because I think what we're having is basically akin to a radio failure. I don't know. I just gotta get to bed at a reasonable hour. We'll troubleshoot this in the air. Which I understand in real life isn't exactly the best ADM, but if it, I mean, I think it could be fixed in the air. Generators on, window heat on, probe heat not equipped. APU off.
Operation complete. Go ahead and set the parking brake.
Alright, setting parking brake.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by. Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Taxi lights on. We're gonna wait here. Alright, signal and pin given. Flaps 15. And running control check. Alright. Time to get the theme song going. San Francisco traffic, Walker 4587, taxiing to runway 1 right via Mike 2 Alpha Lima, San Francisco. So weird seeing freeway traffic this close up. Watch for traffic off the crossing runways. Alright. Alright, landing lights on. San Francisco traffic, Walker 4587 departing, runway 1 right, Arnav Mod Bay, San Francisco. And we're going to check here for traffic. Ooh, good catch, good catch. Walker 4587 amend, we're going to be lining up runway 1 right. So for context, before what I'm about to say, I was flying from Los Angeles to Honolulu here last week, and I was lined up on the same runway as another airplane for landing, and because I was below him, I had right of way, and he did not yield. My radio is not working. Like, how hard is it? How hard is it to watch for traffic? Pull up to the grid box here. Plugins. Xpilot, text message console. It's not gonna roll, it's not gonna roll, so we're good. Everything just disappeared. We're gonna disconnect, and we're going to try this again. Okay, so it didn't say incorrect type code this time. Still not going to initiate the takeoff run because I believe that's an Airbus on final. Okay, so I'm going to take a screenshot. Network error, server address return null, possibly a failed DNS lookup. I have no idea. Fox, I'm on a taxiway. I think autopilot can wait. Content to just hand fly it up. Possibly all the way to cruising altitude. Maybe a little bit past that. I don't know. 1,000. Landing lights off. There's 1,000. I mean, you could call it whatever you like, but I think officially it's, well, officially, it's popularly among pilots referred to as the barber pole. That shows, that's not the VNE. The VNE, I think, is a little higher. But basically, if you're going over the barber pole, you're going too fast. And you will notice, as we climb, that barber pole will creep slower and slower. So, like, I could accelerate up to 300 knots, but in a few thousand feet of altitude, I'll be overspeeding, and that is obviously not a good thing. Pretty much content right now just to let the speed creep up. This thing is handling the power remarkably smooth, definitely much more so than my check ride yesterday out of Los Angeles. Oh, there's so much aliasing. Huh. I guess that's not aliasing, I guess that's just the graphics being at their limit. Alright, there is 6,000. We are nearing our transition here of flight to level 180. Going up to an initial altitude of 31,000 feet, which is definitely very low for a transatlantic flight, but what you gotta understand about flights like this is the fact that the aircraft weight changes so much during the course of a flight. When you take off, fueled up for a long flight, like what we were on from San Francisco to Amsterdam, which I think is going to be my longest BA flight ever, you're obviously weighed down with all that fuel, so your service ceiling isn't as high. But you want to be as high as possible to reduce drag, to have the fuel efficiency be at the absolute max. So, step climbs exist. So hectopascals changes, that's good. Because we're going to need that when we get over to Europe. We're not going to until then, though. Alright, so I think autopilot on at 25,000 feet. I suppose if we really wanted to, I could increase the climb rate. The plane absolutely has the power to do it right now. Because you notice I'm going to pull to 2,500 feet per minute. So that's about 2 minutes now until... So, like, it's definitely working more. Actually, I overshot a little bit. We got up to 3,000. now I can lower it a little bit. Alright. Beyond all of this, though, we are in good shape. I think I might know what's wrong with that sim, but yeah, I'm just gonna ask Walker Air Transport, because if I'm right, basically means I gotta reboot X-Plane, which I really don't want to do. We are definitely overshooting our climb target. I think that has something to do. I mean, it doesn't really matter. We can just, you know, engage the autopilot. The airplane now knows where it's going. It's on LNAV, so it's going to follow the course. Just after Orca is our top of climb. If we're on VNAV, which doesn't function on this airplane, unfortunately. Now that I pull my phone out, it actually starts moving. that is all just fine and dandy. So, I don't know how this is going to impact fuel burn, but okay, that's cool. Now I won't switch to Mach, which I would really appreciate if it did. Yo, is that Beale Air Force Base? We're in Northern California now. So it's doing exactly what I have a gripe about the MD-11 for doing with the power setting. So I'm gonna let it bleed off here.